Namaskar. I am your course instructor Shubhra Sinha and we are going to study the module 5 of the stress management course. This module is carefully crafted to understand an important source of stress in our life, that is occupational stress. We will learn a lot about occupational stress, including the popular frameworks to explain why we feel stressed in our job places, its symptoms, its manifestation, and the ways to control it. For the ease of learning, the whole module is again divided into 5 lectures, and this is the first lecture of this module. In this lecture, we will learn more about the definition and nature of job stress, and then we will talk about some popular frameworks and models which try to explain occupational stress in human life. Let us begin with the lecture. So, as I said, we will be dealing with the meaning of occupational stress, different model of it, and the factors related to occupational stress as suggested by various models of stress. So, first of all, as we have been noticing repeatedly, occupational stress is a negative physical and emotional reaction that emerges when the worker's skills, tools or desires do not align with the demands of their position, potentially leading to health issues and harm. So, again there are two sides. On one hand, there is a worker who has certain skills at hand, certain abilities, certain expectations or desires from the job, and certain tools available with him. The other side is occupied by the job or the job role, which has certain requirements, which poses certain demands to the individual, and the individual responds to this demand with the help of the skills, abilities, tools available with him. As a result, the job offers him some incentives like salary and other things, which should match with the desire or expectation of the worker. If there is an imbalance between these two sides, it quickly leads to the feeling of occupational stress. This occupational stress is not only an emotional reaction, but it also includes significant health related impairments for the employees who suffer from it for a long time. Therefore, it is important to understand this concept thoroughly and take necessary measures to avoid such phenomena occurring repeatedly at the workplace. Now, if you look at this phenomena carefully, you will find that occupational stress can also occur due to factors like favoritism at workplace, discrimination among employees doing the same job, harassment of any sort, or the pressure of being overworked and overwhelmed. The stresses at work also include long working hours and poor communication between the employee and the management, and it also induces significant mental strain if the situations are not resolved properly and continue for a long time. Here is a list of the popular models and theories explaining the phenomena of occupational stress. We are going to discuss mainly the demand control support model, effort reward imbalance model, person environmental fit model, job characteristic model, diathesis stress model, and job demand resources model. So, first of all, let us talk about the demand control support model. This particular framework emphasizes that whenever employees perceive that they have very little control over their job tasks, they face high levels of mental strain, which negatively impacts their well-being. Now, what does it mean? Well, let me explain the term occupational or mental strain first. This occupational strain is a common terminology in occupational health psychology, and it is a result of high workload or limited decision making capacities. We should take up the next important term, which is control over the job task. Control over the job task simply means that an employee thinks that he or she cannot moderate any aspect of his job according to his own requirement. Suppose if the person is assigned 4 jobs, whether the person can decide which job is to be done first and which is to be done the second and then the third and then in the fourth sequence, or it is clearly prescribed by the management that the assigned tasks are to be done in a particular sequence only, the employee actually doing the task cannot make any kind of changes, even if such change may increase the productivity or saves time. So, one aspect of control means whether I can manipulate the job's characteristics or elements according to my own convenience, according to my own working style, or just to enhance the speed of working. Another important element involved in it is if any important decision is being taken about that particular task which is being performed by me or which has been assigned to me by the management, do I have a say into that decision or not? Am I supposed to receive the directions by the management and follow it mechanically, or the management also values my opinion, my experience, as I am the worker who is actually involved with the task. So, if I have a say in the decision making, if my feedback is valuable to the management, if my voice is heard by the people who has to take decision about the task or the thing which I am doing, I may feel empowered. Otherwise, if I feel that I will be given a set of instruction along with the task and I have to blindly follow those instruction without looking for any kind of logic or improvement possibilities about that particular task, I will be actually mentally disengaged. I will lose my interest into the task, and certain times I may feel highly stressed because what I get from the management side may not be suitable for me to implement on the floor. Okay. So, demand control support model means that if the management or the work setting demands something from the employee, certain level of control must be given to the employee as well. If we keep making demands one after the other without giving any kind of control in the hands of the employee who is actually doing the task, it will make the situation highly stressful for him. The second model is effort reward imbalance model. This effort reward imbalance means that the employee joins a workplace, the employee adopts a particular role in the job place with certain expectation. This expectation can be tangible in the form of salary, in the form of facilities that one must get like conveyance or any other thing, or the demand or the expectation can be intangible like getting recognition. getting acknowledgement for the task, getting appreciation, getting empowered from the organization. So, both tangible and intangible expectations are there with the employee. On the other hand, the organization has a set of a structure which suggests what kind of rewards can be offered to an employee in response to his performance. If I put a lot of effort in the task and in turn the kind of reward that I got from the organization does not match my expectation or does not match the level of effort I have put into it, I will be highly dissatisfied, and this actually happens with many people. In small towns, what happens that in private sector jobs, they ask for 10 to 12 hour shift from its employees. But in return, the salary what they offer to those employees is relatively very less as compared to what employees of metropolitan cities get working for the same number of hours. This causes a high level of dissatisfaction with the reward as compared to the amount of effort put in by the employee, leading to occupational stress. The third model includes the person environmental fit model. When we discuss this model, you may be reminded of the transactional model suggested by Lazarus, which we had discussed in the very first module of this course. This is basically an application of transactional model in occupational setting. So, it says that to ensure optimal working conditions, it is essential for the employees to have attitudes, skills, abilities and resources. I repeat, there are 4 important things. What are those? First of all, attitude, then set of skills, then inherent abilities and the resources that are in harmony with the expectations of their job. Here expectations of their job refers to the demands of job, what the employee is supposed to do at his or her workplace, that is the expectation of their job. Now, as far as these things are in balance with each other, there is either no stress or low amount of stress which can easily be managed by the employee. But as the imbalance starts appearing and as it grows on and on, the level of occupational stress also goes high, and the extent to which the employee feels stressed, it directly correlates with the degree of mismatch between the characteristic of the employee and the requirements of the workplace. So, the organization must be careful while placing employees to different job roles. Once you select a desired set of employees, then comes the placement process, which employee is suitable for which job, and the organization must be very careful in doing so, otherwise there is a possibility of mismatch. Again, the organization should also be careful about the rewards or the demands it is making to the employee. The job characteristic model is the fourth model which tries to highlight the factors related to occupational stress. According to this theory, both positive and negative job factors can lead to various cognitive and behavioral outcomes, including employee motivation, happiness and absenteeism level. Both positive and negative job factors. What are the positive job factors? The rewards which are associated with the successful completion of the allotted task are the positive characteristics. So, whatever salary that I get, whatever recognition which I get, or if I derive certain authority or power from doing a particular job, all these will make up the positive side of the job. Then the demands of the job which are difficult to meet, maybe the working hours, maybe the working schedule or any other thing which is challenging, which is difficult to meet with the existing resources, is included in the negative job factors. And all these factors can lead to various cognitive and behavioral outcomes. We have been talking about the cognitive symptoms of stress so far, and the same is true for the behavioral symptoms as well. In the next lecture, we will see about these outcomes, both cognitive and behavioral, in detail. So, these job factors can lead to several cognitive changes or cognitive outcomes and behavioral outcomes in the employees. What are the possible outcomes? The employee motivation, how motivated the employee feels, how encouraged he is to participate in his job, to do his best. Okay. Then the happiness, the satisfaction which an employee derives by being on his workplace, by participating in the workforce, by completing the targets and things like that. And the behavioral outcome of absenteeism. Absenteeism means being absent from the job. How quickly an employee takes leave from the job due to different reasons. So, if a person is satisfied, if a person is happy, obviously the level of absenteeism will be less. But if someone is unhappy, someone is stressed for a long time and has developed a lot of physical and mental symptoms, would require to take frequent leave from the job place. The next is Diathesis stress model. Now, this model indicates that the unique traits of an individual are intertwined with the conditions under which they are exposed to varying degree of work related stress. A person with a high tolerance may not experience mental or physical stress when faced with intense stressors, but if the stress surpasses their limits, health problems could occur. This model typically focuses on the resilience and hardiness of the employee. What this model tries to explain? It says that if the employee is resilient enough, if the employee has proper emotion regulation skills, problem solving skills, coping mechanisms which are productive and effective at hand, he or she is not going to feel that much stressed as other people can feel if they are not having the same set of skills and characteristics. It emphasizes the fact that in the same condition, having a same type of stressor present, the response from the employees may differ. One employee can feel more stress than the other one depending upon the unique set of characteristics possessed by the employee. So, those who are having high tolerance, hardiness, resilience, coping skills and things like that are mainly immune to stress, if not completely, up to a large extent, and they can tolerate stress up to a great extent. Still, if the stress surpasses the accepted limits, this will cause physical and mental symptoms in any of the employee. The next model is known as job demand resources model. According to this model, which is based on conservation of resources and the diathesis stress model or the demand control stress model, the excessive work demands and insufficient resources are linked to job stress. So, what is happening here? This particular model tries to bridge two popular models. One is the demand control stress model, the first one that we studied, and the conservation of resources theory, means we must try to optimally utilize the existing resources, means doing more and more with less and less of resources. So, what organization try, that the organization's approach is to provide the employees with less resources and ask them to work more with them. On the other hand, employee differs from their perception of required resources which are really necessary to perform a task successfully. Now, if I think I need more resources and the organization is offering much less than that, it will build up a kind of a stress in me, because I would be confused that how to do my task successfully in such meager supply of resources. You want me to achieve such high goals, but you are not ready to supply or provide essential resources to do the same. For example, what happens in schools, especially government schools? The new education policy encourages teachers to assimilate more and more of ICT devices while teaching students. They ask for the use of smart classrooms. But if the school does not have even a simple projector or a document camera or a laptop, or there are 40 teachers suppose and only 2 laptops available, how can everyone be using ICT devices in the classroom? So, I have a demand that everybody should use ICT while teaching, so that the students are better able to understand, but I am not providing resources in proportion to my demands. Definitely this is going to build up certain kind of stress and strain in the employees. So, these were the popular models of occupational stress which propose different kind of mechanisms and reasons for building up of occupational stress in employees. If you look at all these models or frameworks, you will easily understand that they focus on certain factors which are deeply related with the level of perceived occupational stress. These factors are role conflict, where workers face conflicting demands, means they are supposed to perform two different type of duties at the same time. Role ambiguity, where there is a lack of clarity about what is expected from an employee. Coping strategies, the kind of techniques or the kind of strategies which an employee uses to manage stress. Organizational climate means the environment, both physical and social and work related. How the work is being done, what is the social environment, means what kind of exchange is there between the employee and the subordinates and the superiors, what kind of interactions are there between them. And the physical environment, how comfortable the physical environment is, what kind of equipments are available, what kind of furnitures are available, whether the building is air conditioned or not, whether there is a continuous supply of drinking water or not, and so many things like that. So, finally, the organizational climate is also influenced by the factors like communication, which is a part of exchange between employee with his superiors and subordinates. Management style, how open and authoritative the management style is, and the level of employees' participation in decision making. So, this was all about this lecture. Let us have a quick recap of it. We saw that studies show that having too much work, little control over decisions and minimal support can negatively impact health by inducing significant levels of occupational stress in the employees. Then the ERI model delves into the correlation between the level of effort put in by the employees and the compensation they receive from their work. The person environment fit theory highlights the alignment between a person's characteristic and their workplace settings. The job characteristics model emphasizes factors including skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy and feedback. The Diathesis stress model examines how an individual's vulnerability to life stresses plays a role in their mental health while responding to occupational stresses. And finally, the job demands resources models, which is based on both conservation of resources theory and the demand control supply model, also emphasizes the fact that the supplies from the organization should reasonably match the demands put by the organization over its employees. These are the references for further reading. Here are some more that you can refer to if you want to enhance your knowledge about these topics. Thank you very much for your kind attention.